flowers could be a subject. Hello there. Welcome to Monday Afternoon Advanced Live Stream. I'm your host, Peter, and we're joined this week by Linda. Hello, Linda.
Hi everyone. It's great to be back.
Always good to have Linda with us, especially because today our topic is the benefits of painting. The benefits of painting. This is, as always, we're pivoting off of an article in your trusty Advanced magazine here for July. In this week's newsworthy article, those are, usually separate little stories. And there's one story here about how these kids in Florida painted pictures when they were school kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, 20 years ago. And now the company, it was done as a promotion for the Crayola company. The company is trying to reunite the kids with their paintings because the kids gave their paintings to the company to use for marketing purposes. And that was 20 years ago. And now they're saying, hey, let's get the paintings back to the kids and, see if we can. And so the article is all about trying to reunite the now grown-up adult kids with their paintings. So we were thinking, let's talk about painting and the benefits of painting. We'll start you off with our poll question, as always. When was the last time you painted? This year? When I made a gift for someone? When I took a painting class? Or childhood? So, some of us do paint, some of us don't paint. We're not talking about being painters like a full-time job or anything. Just when was the last time you painted? And, what was the occasion? This year, when I made a gift for someone, I took a class, or back in childhood. Now, like I said, Linda, I imagine you've painted since childhood.
Yes, actually I painted this year. So my answer to this question would be the first one, this year. I started taking painting classes like in maybe 2 years ago. I don't think I had painted since childhood, like before that, like the last time was probably childhood. And then recently I took up painting because a friend is an artist and she opened up a studio and invited us to go there and paint. And I discovered that I really like I like art and I have an art history background. So I do like arts and crafts.
Side of painting and the benefits it can bring you. That's the basis of our vocabulary today to help you practice your English and become confident with English. We've also got some idioms for you coming up based on painting or using the literal word paint. So I think you're in for a good live stream today. For myself, the last time I painted was about 20 years ago. It was part of a date with this person I was dating at the time, and as an activity, someone had told me, "Oh, you should paint. You should just get yourself some paints, simple, cheap paints from a general store, and get some paper and just." Open a bottle of wine or something and sit down and paint and just, see what happens. And so this was, like I say, about 20 years ago, long before I met my wife, long before I came to Taiwan. And I painted a picture of a full moon in the middle of a black night. No trees, no landscape or anything, just the moon up in this dark night sky. But it was a pleasant thing to do. It wasn't something that I would want to hang in a museum, but it was an enjoyable activity to do.
Yes, I would say the process is very cathartic, and that's one of our vocabulary words today.
Great lead in. Cathartic. C-A-T-H-A-R-T-I-C. Cathartic.
And a cathartic experience or something that is cathartic helps you to release emotions. It helps you to process any emotions that you're feeling, to let it out. It's a healthy way to do that. So painting is quite a cathartic experience. And that's what I experienced. Just painting, it allowed me to relax and just maybe get out any frustration that I was feeling, but in a very calm, relaxed manner.
Right. That's the important thing with the word cathartic and with regard to painting and catharsis. It's not about you start painting something and then suddenly you're screaming or, being very outwardly emotional. It's more about expressing those inner emotions into the work, into the painting by your choice of color, by the choice of what you're painting, how you paint it. All of these can be ways of getting in touch with and expressing emotions that sometimes are not so easily tapped into.
Right. And there are many different ways that you can experience. I feel the action of chopping up vegetables is very cathartic because I'm not injuring anyone. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm just doing something that I need to do in order to cook and make food. But through that process, I am able to release whatever emotions or negativity that I'm feeling. They get to come out in a healthy way.
Exactly. So, Steve, hello, Steve. Always good to have you with us. I kind of figured you might be interested in today's topic. Steve says, I studied in art school before, and I draw comic books, of course, to make people happy. Until now, whenever I went to Starbucks or any other coffee shop, I start looking for more inspiration. Yeah, that's one way to find a subject. Just look around you. Go to a coffee shop, go to a park, some, public place, or even in your own apartment. Just get yourself some paint, get a canvas, something to paint on, and then look around you.
Yeah, you can find inspiration everywhere you go.
Right, right. So another vocab word here for you, just in terms of the benefits of painting. And once again, this isn't about painting well. This is just about the act of painting. We mentioned cathartic. Painting is also tactile. 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 Linda, what is tactile?
Tactile has to do with your sense of touch. So something that is tactile allows you to touch it or to feel it physically.
Right. And we might not think that's such a big deal, but in our day and age when so much of our life is digital and not tactile and not things that we do with our hands as much as it was for most of human history, painting is a way to reconnect because it is tactile. It's you and, paint, the liquid quality of paint and a brush and a canvas, and you put the brush into the paint and you move it across the canvas. There's no website here. There's no URL address. There's no buttons to press. It's tactile. And that's a good way to just get in touch with kind of a forgotten part of ourselves.
Yeah, you get to use your hands and do something physically. You're not looking at a screen, you're looking at a canvas, but something that is real and that you can physically touch.
Right, it's right there in space before you. Kind of like cooking, which we talked about a few weeks ago as well. Also a tactile experience, cooking, painting. One more word here for you, meditation. Might be a little familiar to you. Mediation. I had to look at it this time, but meditation. Linda, what is meditation?
So meditation can be interpreted in different ways. So one way of seeing meditation is allowing yourself to focus just on one thing. And then just focusing on that one thing allows you to be calm and relaxed. We might focus on an idea or a thought and just be with that thought for a while. Sometimes people meditate by thinking about nothing, and that's how
or trying to think about nothing. I tried that.
They feel
once.
relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah, meditation has a variety of applications, a variety of ways to understand it and practice it. But painting can be a very meditative act because it is generally a quiet thing. It is something that requires you to screen out the distractions of the world so you can just focus on your subject and how you can capture with paint on the canvas the nuances of your subject, the different colors, the shades, the textures. The level of concentration that painting involves can turn it into a meditative practice. And I would imagine maybe some of you out there are familiar with calligraphy, culturally speaking, the practice of Chinese calligraphy, very similar to painting as we're talking about it today.
Yes, and I also feel that is also cathartic. Just writing, because I do like calligraphy also, just writing out the characters, it's very calming and relaxing, especially if you have soft music playing in the background and you're drinking a cup of tea.
Right, right. It can be a very meditative experience, and that's good because that helps you calm down if you're riled up. That helps you sort of unwind from the day or from the week. If you had a hard week, you just sit down with a canvas and a subject, you choose a subject and you start painting, and what happens, happens.
And we hear from
Joshing, always nice to see you. I draw a picture where oh, okay. Now, did you draw a picture when you had brittle bones or was the person in the picture had brittle bones. Brittle, good vocab word there, meaning very easily broken, very fragile, brittle bones. And Agatha, hello. I remember painting made me calm and happy when I was a child. Yes, and certainly painting is a great way for a child to sort of practice a form of meditation. A form of being able to concentrate and kind of bring their energy down a bit when they paint.
Yeah.
And Steve says, my tactile is depending on which characters I should put and who's going to be the lead role in my topic. This morning, another story I was going to draw called Fly Racing from Michael Rosen's poem. I think you've mentioned Michael Rosen before, Steve. His poetry has been an influence on you, an inspiration for some of your own work. Good. Thank you for sharing on that.
And I think the poll that we had, childhood seems to be
let's
the leading
update
answer.
You on our poll here. It looks like, if we can expand that, yes, childhood. 43% of you. The last time you painted was in childhood. And I said I painted once 20 years ago. That's true, but that was like a rare exception. By and large, the last time I painted was in childhood as well. As some of you know, I used to be a theater actor, so I spent most of my time painting pictures with words on the stage with fellow characters telling a story, that kind of art, but not actually painting.
I would love to see my pictures from childhood that I painted, what the article talks about from this, because I loved doing art when I was small, so it would be nice to see those paintings, but I think they're all gone now.
Oh, shoot, they're not tucked away somewhere?
I think so.
Maybe the Crayola company, we should get in touch with them. Joy. Hello, Joy. Always nice to see you. Indeed, chopping is cathartic, like Linda was saying, especially chop with a machete. Okay. Joy, yes.
Okay.
Chopping. Those are some pretty big onions you're chopping there if you're using a machete. A machete, of course, a nice vocab word, actually. One of those big, long knives, almost a sword that you see them, when you're hacking through the jungle somewhere and you have to clear a path for yourself. It's those big things, like I say, just a big, long knife sticking out like that. And Joshing says, you can just be an art connoisseur. Nice vocab word there. Yeah, a connoisseur, French term, means an expert in something, someone with a high level of appreciation for something, a connoisseur. So yeah, you can paint or you can just enjoy what other people have painted.
Yeah, I think we can all be art connoisseurs, like being able to appreciate great works of art.
Absolutely. Let's throw you guys a discussion question. We've got some more vocab for you, of course, but let's give you a discussion question first. If you, now going to just pretend here, going to use our imagination, if you were a master painter, whatever you paint is automatically brilliant and terrific and technically accomplished and all that. You're a master painter. What would you paint today? What would you paint today? July 14th. It is July 14th, right? Have I got the date right? Yeah, July 14th, 2025. What would the master painter paint today? Linda, the master painter, what would you paint today?
I would still go back to classic landscape. I that's something that I love painting, and I think people still appreciate. I've never been into modern art, so yeah, I'll still do something that's classic.
Modern art like Jackson Pollock, and where it looks like it's just stripes and swirls and dots and blobs and in a kind of abstract kind of way. That kind of painting has value, but it's maybe not the kind of painting that most of us would think about doing. David Lynn. Hello, David. I did a portrait of my girlfriend, who is now my wife, back in 2002. But after that, no more painting because I'm not really good at that. Fair enough, David. It got you a wife. That's. It sounds like you're pretty good if you managed at least to do that. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, not many of us are very good at it, but we do it because we like it, or it's cathartic, or it's
meditative, or it's tactile. Again, just to reemphasize, we're not talking about painting well or being a good painter. We're just talking about painting, like we used to do when we were kids. And the teacher wouldn't say, oh, your painting gets an F or something. They'd always say, oh, you're very good. You did this. Oh, look at that. That sort of painting is
and
what we're talking about.
You can even do paint by numbers, which is very simple.
That's true.
You have a picture and it's divided into parts, and it has numbers on it that tells you what color to use. That number is associated with a color. So you just do that.
Right. Yeah. That's painting. That's painting.
Come out to be a good picture.
Yeah. Agatha, I would paint myself riding a horse. Agatha Lee, the master painter. Today she is working on a picture of herself riding a horse on the trail behind your home because that is something you always wanted to try but don't dare to. Very nice share, Agatha. Thank you for that. Painting is sometimes a way that we can express or represent things we wouldn't otherwise do in real life. Painting can be a way to get in touch with our dream life, our fantasy life, even, if you like. Yeah. We don't always have to paint what we see with our eyes. We can paint what we see with our mind.
Right.
Or with our heart.
That we imagine. Yes. Yeah. Like David Lynn, he would like to paint something related to world peace. That's a good aspiration.
Yeah, can't go wrong with that, David. Good luck with that painting. And Joshing says, painting makes me upbeat. Good. More painting then. More painting for Joshing. Okay, we are already winding down here with our time, but we want to close by giving you a couple idioms. These are great idioms, very useful, and just, using paint, but not idioms you would use only when you're talking about painting. So let's give you the first one here. Maybe we can give you all three. Let's see. Paint yourself into a corner. Paint yourself into a corner. Linda, what does it mean to paint yourself into a corner?
So you have done things that gives you very little options. So if you paint yourself into a corner, you've done something. So if you're in a corner, there's not much leeway. You can't go very far. So it's when you're kind of stuck. You don't have many options to choose from.
Right. You're in the corner. You got the wall here. You got the wall here. There's only so many ways you can go. I painted myself into a corner the other day when I said I would meet someone at noon and I would meet another person at 12:30, even though that other person was 2 hours away. I painted myself into a corner. I was in a situation where I didn't have an easy way out. That's an example of painting yourself into a corner. Steve, the master painter. I will paint today a background of Pinner Station and draw my cartoon characters waiting at the platform because it's also from Michael Rosen's poem. Okay. Thank you for that, Steve. One more idiom. That's what they're called. Idiom. One more idiom for you here. Paint the town red. We're going to paint the town red. Linda, what does that mean?
You're going to go out and have fun on the town.
Yeah. Like lots of fun. You're gonna see sights and you're gonna make noise and you're gonna spend lots of money. I mean, it basically means to have fun, but in a kind of deliberately excessive way. We're gonna paint the town red.
You're gonna go all out, and have lots of fun and enjoyment.
This is gonna be one for the books, as we say. This is gonna be a memorable evening. Okay, Joy says, same as turn on a dime with regard to paint yourself into a corner. No. To turn on a dime means to be able to come to a very quick stop on, like as though you were on a dime, the 10-cent coin in American currency, representing a very small spot. And we might say that, oh yeah, that car, its brakes are so good, you can stop on a dime or even turn on a dime. It means you have great maneuverability and great control over your motion. But that's different from painting yourself into a corner. Okay, last one, and then we gotta go. Idiom, paint with a broad brush. Paint with a broad brush.
Right. So if you have a broader brush rather than a thinner brush, then you're doing just an overall, like an overview. You're not really going to be able to paint those details. So it's more like a general thing that you're describing. Let's say if you paint with a broad brush, you're just giving a general description or an overview.
Exactly. And in a way, that's what we're doing here with the live stream today and talking about painting. We're painting with a broad brush. We're giving you some general ideas, some general aspects about the benefits of painting. But we're not going into too much detail because we don't have time. And also because we want to keep the focus on helping you practice your English and learn about English, but hopefully also to inspire you maybe to do a little more painting than you've done since childhood, according to 43% of you at least. Be sure to check when we're gone here. You can check the final poll results. They'll be posted in the comments section below us here. But I'm afraid for now, Linda and I have to get back to the studio and prepare for next Monday's live stream. We hope you'll join us then. We'll have a new topic, a new chance to practice your English, to interact with us, talk about it, and grow confident in your English. But for today, I'm Peter.
I'm Linda.
Saying bye-bye.
Bye. This actually looks like a calligraphy brush. Yeah.
It just might be. And that's why I think it's going to make an interesting picture